In the previous video, we looked at the fourth, fifth, and sixth day, where in the fourth day, God said, "Let there be light in the firmament and the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth." That was the fourth day. And for the fifth day, God said, "Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." That was the fifth day. For the sixth, God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth, each according to its kind." And it was so. So these were the last 3 days, where we see the earth is coming to a completion. The days and nights as we have them today, they were set at that particular moment. The complex life forms were starting to be seen around, from the fish and then the birds, which were on the fifth day, and on the final sixth day, the mammals, I could say, mammals, and assumably also insects. So yes, and if you were to consider the first, second, and third days, where God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. This we said was the initially, when God was starting to create the universe. In perspective, it can be related to the Big Bang. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And on the second day, God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Here I said that, assuming that the waters is time, it can actually be the normal water, but I considered that thought process, assuming that the water is time. And this was seen to be made on the second day. So yes, time can be considered to have already existed, but for the second day we can say that gravity is starting to generate its effects from immediately after the Big Bang. Now gravity is starting to take effect, and from what we can understand, gravity affects how we perceive time. So yeah, that direction in the thought process. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, and the herb that yields seed, and fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind." So this is vegetation. We see it being formed even before the sun, the moon, and basically all the heavenly bodies. If we were to follow through the entire creation process, we did say that it's systematic, it follows an order, it's orderly. Yeah, so even when science tries to understand it, they too see that order taking shape, because one process can't start before one is completed, and so one has to start in order to be completed so another can start. So yeah, it's systematic. So on the first day, everything had to be basically introduction of the raw materials, of which a final earth can be formed into. So that was the first day. On the second day, it was bringing a sort of a balance, a rate at which the a perception can be taken from, in which a measure, that's time, that is a measure. So on the second day, that's what was placed. And so on that day is the introduction of life, where vegetation starts to be seen, its presence, its occurrence, it starts to be noticed. And at that point, the sun itself has already formed, it's already present. What might not be present is the moon, which we see was formed after a collision between Earth and another rogue planet. So on the third day, is it the third day? No, the fourth day, when we're being told divide the day from the night and all that, you see the moon appears at night. Of course, a distinction between the day and the night was already there, but having the moon justifies the part that says, is it, God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. Yeah. And what we can take from there, it says, then God made two greater lights and two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. That was verse 16. Verse 15 it says, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth. And it was so. That's verse 15. So from verse 14 to verse 16, what we understand is God says, let there be a light in the firmament. In the sky there should be light. But He already made light. Here we can assume that at this particular point the light is starting to be seen, I guess, or to be perceived. Initially there was nothing to perceive light, but then now there is something to perceive that there is light. So we can assume that a form of intellectual life, not just plant life, but a form of animal life, like how can I say it? If it's plant life, it's a plant life that is dependent on how light varies, like how during the day is the sun, during the night is the moon. Now we start to depend on that cycle of it. That's how I can probably say it, because the light was already made at this point. So when it says that let the lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth, and it was so. Yes, verse 15 says it, and let them be for lights in the firmament. Yeah, something like that. The light already existed. yeah, that was for the fourth day. Basically, just see an order, like, yes, he's using an already made something already made to uphold something else.